Get this. Adults with financial literacy skills have 82% more wealth than those who don't. From swimming lessons to piano classes, us parents invest in so many things to enrich our kids' lives. But are we investing in their future financial success? With Greenlight, you can teach your kids financial literacy skills like earning, saving, and investing. And this investment costs less than that after-school treat. Start prioritizing their financial education and future today with a risk-free trial at greenlight.com/get-started. That's greenlight.com/get-started.
Heath, you are my best friend, and we will defeat whatever challenges we might face through the power of friendship.
Indeed, no illusions. Our friendship is stronger than even the most powerful force in the universe.
Indeed. But Heath, something troubles me.
Eh? What's that, Noah?
Did we always talk like this? I feel like maybe we did not.
Eh? Impossible.
There's only one solution. We must ask our master Cecil.
Indeed, we must.
I am the Dark Master, Cecil something Italian. You called for me?
Master, you are so powerful and amazing.
Yes, I am.
But can you tell me, did we always talk like this?
Tom? Tom?
Eh? What is that?
This is Tom Tom, my talking walrus. We are best friends.
Tom Tom!
Exactly.
You said it, Tom Tom.
But you are right, Heath. We did not always talk like this.
You fools!
Eli, the Dark Mistress.
That's right, it's me, Eli, the Dark Mistress of Darkness. You fools have fallen for my dark plan of darkness once again, ha ha ha.
Eh? Tom Tom?
That's right. To prepare you for this week's podcast about Miyamoto Musashi, I have trapped all of you into this cartoonifier, and you will remain here until you can defeat me in my powerful powers of darkness. Ah ha 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 ha. But you shall never catch me, and you shall never find me.
His tits were like out, right? Like all the way out. You guys saw that?
Totally.
Like super obvious.
Tom Tom!
Hello and welcome to Citation Needed, the podcast where we choose a subject, read a single article about it on Wikipedia, and pretend we're experts. Because this is the internet, and that's how it works now. I'm Eli Bosnick, and I'll be your waifu this evening, but I'll need a senpai or two to show me how to love.
What?
First up, two men pretending they don't watch that kind of porn just as hard as they can. Cecil and Heath.
We're like Cowboy Bebop and Rocksteady? Do I have it right?
Yeah, sure.
Back in my day, you used to have to use your imagination or the J.C. Penney catalog. Get off my lawn. Jesus.
And also joining us tonight, guys who miss when finding a body in the woods and finding porn in the woods were the same thing, Tom and Noah.
Okay, is it weird when you find them both at the same time but only report the one?
I think it'd be weirder if you added the porn. You know, also, while I've got you on the phone, kids could come by this.
All right, well, now that we've scared off anyone who might be giving this show a try because their friend recommended it,
I feel like we gave that away a while ago.
I'd like to take a moment to thank our patrons. Patrons, you are the steel of our blade, the head of our arrow, the third thing. Note to self, write this later, don't forget. If you'd like to learn how to join their ranks, be sure to stick around to the end of the show. And with that out of the way, tell us, Cecil, what person, place, thing, concept, phenomenon, or event will we be talking about today?
Today we're going to be talking about Miyamoto Musashi.
And Cecil, you've sexually role-played this guy enough times that you didn't really need to read an article, but you did it anyway. Are you ready to give us the clean version?
There is no clean version, Eli. There is no clean version.
All right, so tell us, Cecil, what are the nerdiest 11 words you can start a citation needed essay with?
Has to be 11, huh? Okay.
Yeah, 11.
So, hey, guys, my mom won the Lee Bennett Hopkins Award. That's 11, right?
How dare you?
So coming in second place, here's the second nerdiest. If you've ever been around any kind of sword combat simulation,
Yep.
There they are.
yeah, there it is. You've probably heard the name Miyamoto Musashi. It's a name that is synonymous with skill, bravado, and precision. The name even makes its way into Western martial arts. And yes, there are Western martial arts. In fact, the famous line from The Princess Bride, naturally, but I find that Tybalt cancels out Capoferro. And then the response, unless your enemy has studied his Agrippa. Those were all real Western martial artists that created their own style of fighting. And one day, I will bore you with them. But today, I will bore you with Musashi.
Okay, Cecil, obviously the West has its own version of martial arts. Perhaps you've not seen our uniform, the backwards ball cap, or heard perhaps our battle cry of, "Are you talking to me?"
This Jenny's parking lot isn't big enough for the two of us. Don't worry, Cecil. One day I'll do an essay on the guy who made Donkey Kong, and yours won't be the nerdiest Miyamoto episode anymore. I got you, boo. I got you.
Musashi is remembered for his swordsmanship as an undefeated duelist of 61 duels. He should also be recognized as an author, an artist, a poet, a tactician, and a philosopher.
Just like Steven Seagal.
Much of this story is autobiographical and hard to verify, but it isn't hard to believe that he considered himself all of those things. In fact, samurai were trained in many diverse arts, and a lot of them practiced poetry or art. And you require no real qualifications to consider yourself any of these things anyway. Here, watch. I'm a poet. See, it's that easy. It's literally that easy.
Okay, but ever since Walt Whitman made rhyming optional with enough dramatic emphasis, the Sears catalog is indistinguishable from most modern poetry. So I know this because I once read from it at an open mic night.
Did you seriously? Okay.
It wasn't. It was a pet catalog, but yeah. Yeah.
Awful lot of stone throwing here in this glass house we call a podcast, gentlemen. Let's
It's not like this podcast is one of Lee Bennett Hopkins' word, okay?
Musashi was born, according to his autobiography, in 1584.
That would be 2023 in today's years. I'm sorry. That means absolutely nothing. I'm sorry.
His father was a martial arts teacher and an accomplished martial artist himself. Supposedly, he was taught at a young age how to fight by his father. It must have been damn young, because at the age of 6, he and his father parted ways. One version of this story is that 6 or 7-year-old Musashi traveled to his uncle's on his own. In any case, a lot of the sources say his father taught him the fundamentals of the sword, and then he was shipped off to his uncle, who was a Buddhist, and he lived in some kind of monastery or temple.
One of the lesser known noble truths. I'll be back in 15 minutes. I'm just getting cigarettes.
Oh, no. Jesus.
All right, Cecil, let's talk skin. What's the situation with the dermatology of Miyamoto Musashi?
This is so weird. At this point in the story, multiple sources decide to talk about his eczema.
It's about time.
Now, I suppose more than one of these did this because this is where the wiki article mentions it. But in any case, they said his eczema affected his appearance. And then the wiki says, quote, another story claims that he never took a bath because he didn't want to be surprised unarmed, end quote.
Okay, I get it. But here's the thing. You get attacked by naked Eli with the sword he had hidden in his bubble bath. You quickly realize the surprise can go the other way on that. It's very surprising.
So the little Buddhist practitioner and budding swordsman decided to have his first duel at 13. The young swordsman was basically taking on all comers, and the adept's name was Arima Kihei. And he posted publicly that he would fight anyone that wanted to sign up. So Musashi signed the challenge, and when the message came to Musashi that the challenge had been accepted, Musashi's uncle tried to intervene, came to speak to the fighter, explained that his nephew was too young, and impetuously signed his name to the challenge. So Kihei said that he would let it go if Musashi apologized. So he said to Musashi's uncle that he and his nephew should come at the designated time of the fight, and in front of everyone, he should apologize.
Wait. Sign up? There's a fucking sign up sheet for a duel to the death?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Wait, what's more? With a like you mean it backsies clause.
Yeah, right. What this seems so fucking polite.
So dutifully, his uncle dragged Musashi up to the grounds at the appointed time. And at this point, his uncle begins to apologize profusely. It's also at this point armed with a 6-foot quarterstaff that Musashi challenges the guy again. Now, some sources say he just rush the guy, but in any case, a fight ensues. It isn't long. The adept swings his sword at Musashi, which the 13-year-old easily blocks, and then he knocks the guy off his feet. And as Kahai is getting up, Musashi cracks him in the skull repeatedly with the staff until he dies. Now, here's a quote from a book called The Lone Samurai on the Duel. Quote, Kahai was said to have been arrogant, overly eager to battle, and not a terribly talented swordsman, end quote.
Which is why it's fine that I surprise attacked him and beat him to death. No
shit.
Musashi.
What?
Different time, my friend, different time. So 3 years later,
It's an
Musashi...
honor culture.
3 years later, Musashi goes on his Mushiga Shugyo, which means warrior's quest. This is basically what European knight errantry was as well. A warrior coming of age heads out into the big wide world in search of adventure. They would travel, hone their skills, train with others, take odd gig jobs as bodyguards or mercenaries, and they would duel.
Okay. The bar scene has not changed that much. I gotta be honest.
it's
That's right.
Well, but now I'm picturing like a medieval knight with one of those hobo bags and a stick. That seems incongruous, right? In a suit of armor.
At 16, he also kills his next opponent, Tadashima Akiyama. It's not clear if he did this on his walkabout or not. Wikipedia has an entry for his opponent. Quote, a rather unknown figure, he is largely remembered for his defeat at the hands of the young Miyamoto Musashi, end quote.
Rough.
Oh, I'm sorry. Not a lot of information there. Did he not post his sign-up sheet like at the rec center? Was it? Do you have like one of those little bulletin board tear-offs at an ancient Japanese Starbucks or something? What the fuck is going on
Just
here?
picturing Akiyama huffing around heaven with Ben Johnson. This guy gets it. This guy fucking gets it. He's a great sitar player. It's fine.
You listen to that podcast?
No.
Now, there are conflicting accounts. Some say he fought in a major battle at 16, right around this time. The Battle of Sekigahara had about 160,000 combatants, of which between 12 and 42,000 were killed. According to one account, Musashi not only fought in the battle, but was unscathed, and many other fighters noticed how great he was. Musashi himself never really mentions it and just says he was in 6 battles during his lifetime.
All right, guys. Battle's over. You are on cleanup duty. Now, there's either 12,000 graves to dig or possibly 3.5 times that many.
That's
All
a lot
right,
of graves.
we're not really sure. Does anyone have a roster? A roster? No?
Also, did anyone notice anyone else doing a particularly good job during this battle? They'd like to note that for history.
Right.
Now. And no, ancient Japanese heath, you cannot nominate yourself for doing a good job. No.
I don't, maybe I just don't understand pre-modern battles, but like, I'm amazed that they have time to pause and go, hey, check out the new one. Huh?
Not a scratch on it. I was going to say, not a scratch on him, yeah.
He's having a hell of a rookie year, I'm telling you, man.
Scribe?
Yeah.
Scribe, write that down.
Now, when Musashi is around 20 is when things heat up for him. He arrives in Kyoto, challenges the clan that was responsible for training the shogun. The head of that household, Yoshioka Seijuro, took the challenge to a single touch, and he fought Musashi with a wooden sword. Musashi was like an absolute king of head games, though, and sets the time and date for the duel, but shows up super late.
Nice.
Well, naturally, Seijuro is pissed, but he also thinks that Musashi is afraid of him. And that blend of overconfidence and anger caused him not to fight as carefully as he should have. The fight is over quickly, and the one touch that Musashi delivers results in his opponent getting a broken arm. And then, according to one of the sources, the head of the clan retires and becomes a monk in shame.
Same guy looking down from heaven. There's a not to the death version? This is fucking...
So this guy's brother, Denshichiro, takes over as the head of the clan and challenges Musashi. Again, Musashi shows up late and kills the guy with one hit to the face with a wooden sword. Now, the son of the original clan head is the leader of the clan, and he challenges Musashi, but he's only 13. they agree to a time and place, but the kid brings his whole crew. Now, in one version of the story, they all attack him, and Musashi fights off like 60 people armed with swords, spears, bows, and muskets. In another, all the clan hide, and Musashi fights the 13-year-old, cutting off his head with one strike, and then killing several of the clan members until they retreat. In a much more likely legend, Musashi shows up early, hides, and when they're all just hanging out, waiting for him to show up, he jumps out, kills the 13-year-old clan leader, and fights like 2 or 3 of these people while he just retreats and escapes.
Yeah, all right. I'm sorry.
So he won.
I think I missed the part of the essay, Cecil, where he first broke out of his own coffin because he had mastered Pinky Death Touch or whatever.
Also,
I'm not reading the book for verbatim, Tom. Come on.
Also, surprise murdering a tween. It doesn't scream hero of legend there, Cecil. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Okay, it's not.
Oh, all right. So when it's not Mario Kart related, suddenly you agree. Okay.
Yes, what you said. Yep.
All the legends here seem to make a big deal of Musashi fighting several people at once and using his secondary sword in his offhand. I'm not sure how no one thought of that until he did, but they make a big deal out of it. It was common for the samurai to fight with a yute or a jute, I don't know how to pronounce that, which is like a rounded metal rod with a hook for a hilt. It's like half a sai. And they would often use this little knife-like object in their offhand to bind their opponent's blade. And I guess Musashi took it to the next level and just decided to go full DPS and use 2 offensive weapons, which was one of those mind-blown moments in history.
All right. Well, while we wait for General Grievous to come along and show this guy what's what, we'll take a quick break for some apropos of nothing.
He's got like 30 swords.
I'm telling you, dude, her feet were like this little. It was insane.
So hot,
Right.
bro.
Good evening, gentlemen. Hi.
Oh, hey, Miyamoto.
May I sit with you? I am weary from a day of battle.
It's a seat. Oh, God. He's sitting down. Sure, man. Fine.
Waiter, a bag of your flaming hot Doritos, please.
Man, we don't have those. This is pre-modern Japan.
Sounds like someone wants to duel.
God damn. I'll see what the kitchen can do.
Anyway, how was your duel today, Miyamoto?
Excellent. I pretended to poop my pants, and then,
What?
when he came over to help me up, I stabbed him in the throat.
That's not-
Undefeated.
Okay, I'm not sure that's like the spirit duels are supposed to be fought in.
Spirit, ha! There is no spirit. Only winners and the dead.
I mean, technically, you don't have to kill everyone you duel, you know?
Oh, if only that were the case. If only.
It's very much the case.
It's the case.
Which reminds me, did I ever tell you guys about the book I'm writing? It's about my 2 blades style. I invented it.
I mean, look, man, don't take this the wrong way and duel me. Isn't using 2 swords kind of cheating? Like, isn't that cheating?
Thank
What?
you.
How?
Yeah, like samurai fighting, it's like 3,000 years old now. You don't get to just bring whatever weapons you feel like. Like 2 swords, that's just super obviously cheating.
Super cheating. Extra special cheating.
You insult me, gentlemen. I shall keep your company no longer. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to surprise attack a literal child.
Got it.
Yeah, man, we'll see you.
Dude, he fucking smells, right?
Oh my God, thank you. It's like a beef scented candle. I thought I was going to throw up.
You mean I made these fucking Doritos for nothing?
I'll eat them.
And we're back. When we left off, the greatest swordsman in history killed a middle schooler and then ran away.
He totally did. He totally did.
Who was his next opponent, and how did Miyamoto push her out of her wheelchair?
Oh, you don't understand genius. All right. It's also during this time that Musashi makes his grand tour around the island, strategically beating people who fight with different weapon styles. This seems to me to be a very purposeful part of his legend to help illustrate how fighting with two swords is superior to all other forms.
Yeah, it feels like double superior, like twice as good.
Twice as many swords?
Yeah, it's two swords. This type of fighting is called Niten Ichi, or I think Niten Ichi, sure, which means two heavens as one. In this style, the combatant uses the katana and the wakizashi simultaneously.
Okay, but as two, really, right?
During this little tour, he beats a guy with a metal staff and another guy with a small sickle and chain, and then he comes across a guy with a giant honking sword called a nodachi.
Yeah, I like that for Cecil. Two swords just sounds obviously better, but for those of us who are not terribly coordinated, that is just a second sharp thing to accidentally hit ourselves in the nuts with while running away. It's not better. Yeah, it's not better at all.
Also, if he's doing guys with different weapons, I feel like ancient Japanese Heath could have ended this by just calling gun, but I'm biased.
Right.
I am biased.
Musket, blunderbuss, those were both around.
Doesn't say anything in the rules. Airbud.
Now, at this point, from what I can glean, Musashi has abandoned the traditional secondary sword in the daisho. The daisho is what they call a pair of swords that samurai commonly carried.
Wait, so they were all carrying around two swords?
Yeah, they
but
were.
For thousands of years. And he was
right.
like, I'm going to use both for the first
Was
time.
the other one for buttering his bread? What the fuck was the other sword for?
They would choose, they would no shit, like lay it out like a fucking caddy and be like, I don't know, hand me the short one. I'm going to use the short one now. And they would seriously just use like one, but I guess he's the first guy, according to legend, that sort of like pulled both swords out and used them. In any case, he started to carry around a katana and a wakizashi that were equal size, right? Because one's normally smaller, but he carried around the two that were of equal size. So I mentioned the giant sword called a nodachi. Well, the nodachi is basically a hand and a half or a two-handed katana.
Sorry, hand and a half? So it's like a nodachi and then like the butter knife Tom was talking about between two fingers with a half-hand butter knife? What does that mean?
I assume that he just cut half of the dude's hand off or something.
If a katana is like the size of a traditional arming sword, then the nodachi would be like a claymore. I think that comparison has fully ticked off all the sword geeks and thoroughly confused my co-host. My work is done here. I'm tapping my fingers. This is me dusting my hands up.
Hey, Cecil, I spent a chunk of my last essay describing a satirical Elizabethan playwright feud. I am by no means in stone-throwing position. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So Musashi eventually crosses paths with Sasaki Kojiro. Now, Kojiro was a famous swordsman in his own right. He had his own fighting school, and at one point, he had fought 3 opponents at once.
Okay, do we know how many of those opponents were prepubescent? Because apparently...
Yeah, right. No, it matters.
Also, 3. I know 3 doesn't sound... I know 3 doesn't sound all that impressive considering we heard his story a few minutes ago where Musashi fought 60 people, but Kojiro did this with a metal fan.
What? Whatever. Look, I've seen women take on 3 guys at once on the internet all the time. This is...
Okay, so no, I have to admit, my first thought was some old-timey samurai beating people up with my oscillating fan or whatever. But now I get it. I get what you're saying now. But.
The duel between these two is talked about by multiple sources, but there is no one account of how it came to be. Some say it was an outright challenge by Musashi. Others say that Musashi asked the local lord to set it up. And others say that the lord wanted it to happen, so he set it up with no prompting. In any case, almost 411 years ago, on April 13th, 1612, the two scheduled the duel on an island. And at this point, Musashi's 30 and his opponent is 18-ish.
All right, moving on up to high schoolers. Swordsman of legend.
He should duel at half his age plus 7, right? Like that's the rule.
Right, yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio's only killing 25-year-olds out there. It's crazy. So the day of the duel comes and Kojiro is there at the appointed time, 8 a.m. Now, Musashi is nowhere to be seen. So they wait and Musashi does not show up. So Kojiro sends one of his retainers to where Musashi's staying and homeboy is fast asleep still. So they wake him up, and Musashi like yawns, gets up, and then decides to order a full breakfast and then slowly eat it. He like takes, according to accounts, he fucking takes his time and like slowly eats his food. Now he heads out, he gets on a boat, and he travels to the island. He starts to use his knife to carve a large wooden sword out of the ore. Now, in one version, Musashi's boat lands on the shore. He jumps out with the oversized wood ore sword, charges and smacks the guy in the head with one blow, kills him, and then gets back in the boat and then goes to town.
Okay. That guy definitely should have called no Orsies, though. Like, if you don't call it.
Yeah, right?
No horses.
Hey,
You got to
have
call
we
it.
considered changing this guy's moniker from greatest swordsman to, I don't know, surprise attack serial murderer? That's,
Right? Right?
Okay, but surprise though, because when did people learn about not signing up for the serial killer?
I know.
Is it soon? I hope it's soon.
Is anyone else like suffering from this fear that the citation needed of 2434 is going to be all about how Heath was the greatest party game player of all time or something?
There's a lot of lore already on the books, Noah.
According to his autobiography.
All right. So other versions of this tale are a lot more showy. He gets out of the boat, and the guy he's fighting takes his scabbard from for his nodachi and just throws it in the sea as a sign that forcing him to wait this long, this is now going to be a fight to the death. Now, in response to that, Musashi says that he's not surprised Kojiro threw his scabbard into the sea because he knew he'd never get to use it again. Boom! Roasted! What's up?
Got him.
Boom! Anyway, sword fighters like that. Anyway, at this point, thank you, Heath. Thank you. At this point, the fight starts, and Kojiro is fighting with his two-handed nodachi, and Musashi has his two katanas, or his one katana and one long wakizashi.
He has two katanas, right? He's
I
just
know,
like
right,
I'm
I know.
having two of the good
And
ones.
they circle each other, and then Kojiro lunges with an overhand swing just as Musashi jumps at him. When the two swings are finished, Kojiro's head is cut in half, and Musashi's headband falls off, cut in two, but otherwise he's unhurt. The last notable duel he took part in is about 10 years later. He comes to a city and he opens a dojo. And then he puts a sign out.
Jodo.
It's Jodo. You're right. I'm sorry. And then he puts a sign outside. Miyamoto Musashi, the #1 adept of the sword in all Japan. Now, the lord of this part of Japan sees this and he's furious that just some upstart has this kind of audacity. So he sends his most talented retainer to go fight Musashi and challenge him to a duel. The fighter, Gunbei, comes to the dojo, or Jodo. And demands Musashi see him. And true to Musashi, he makes the guy wait for an hour.
So good.
Okay, look, I get if my wife were a famous sword duelist, this would be how she would remember too.
So I'm not saying I want her to run in to the room you're in right now, Tom, and kill you with a single blow from a wooden sword. But if she was gonna do that, this would be the funniest moment for it, right? We can all agree on that.
Well, when Musashi finally comes to meet Gunbei is furious.
Yeah, of course, because he got made to wait forever. He's like, dude, you got to stop doing fucking NBA power moves or whatever the fuck you think you're doing. Musashi's just like, oh, hello. I'm just spinning my oversized chair that I brought with me. Have this very small cigar. I have a large one.
But Musashi says that if he knew that he wanted to fight, he would have come sooner, but he was in the middle of a game of Go with a guest, and then he offers Gunbei to come into the garden and fight. It can either be with real swords or with wooden ones. Gunbei walks over, cuts a piece of bamboo, and uses that against Musashi. Fights over in an instant. And it ends with Gunbei acknowledging that Musashi is indeed the #1 adept of the sword in Japan.
Okay. Anybody else picturing Gunbei just standing behind Musashi like an angry mom watching you play Nintendo? Being like, you can just pause it. Let's go. I know you can pause it. Or
At this
Atari,
point-
I guess it would be, because it's a Go thing. One Go player is like,
Yeah,
that's
but
an
a lot of
amazing
retro
joke.
game nerds also appreciated that, Heath.
At this point, he decides to start traveling around, kicking ass and taking kids. That's right. He starts adopting kids along the way. Some of them go on to be highly regarded and highly paid by lords. Others are not so lucky. One of his adopted kids he meets when he's traveling through a town, the kid's name is Mikinosuke. According to this legend, his parents were old and he was taking care of them. And Musashi says, "Would you like to be my son? I would find you a good lord." And then the kid declines because he's taking care of his family. So Musashi goes in to talk to them, gives him a wad of cash to pay to have someone else take care of them. And then he takes the kid as his new adopted son.
What? What the fuck? What is this? He's like a weird sword-wielding Japanese Elon Musk, just like
man.
buying shit that isn't even for sale. What?
All right. Tell me you're going to not rename him with a bunch of like fucking symbols and random diacritical marks and you can have the kid. Right, that's all I ask. There's no fucking hyphen or whatever that AE thing is.
Now, true to his word, Musashi did find a lord for him. Mikinosuke becomes one of the warriors under this lord's employ, and then that lord up and gets tuberculosis. Well, he lasts a short time and then he dies. But the tradition is that his vassals can decide to just kill themselves upon his death, which is what Mikinosuke does. He writes his death poem, goes to his master's grave 6 days after his master's death, and performs seppuku, which is where you stab yourself in the stomach with a short knife, sometimes dragging it around your body, and then a guy standing behind you lops your head off.
Still better than how Twitter's going to end.
And it could be worse, right?
Heath and right, son.
Yeah. What's up?
Look, there's no easy way to tell you this, but your lord died last night. He choked on a grape.
Seriously? I just got here yesterday. Really?
I know, but now you must do the honorable thing and kill yourself, or you will be forever known as a Ronin.
Do I have to do that? Is there not like a 30-day grace period, like health insurance or something? Again, just got here.
No, I am afraid not.
Okay. Like, I don't even think we met, though. It just seems weird to like over a guy I haven't met, right?
Yeah, he's
Stab myself?
You will bring great dishonor to your family name.
Right. Yeah, dishonor. Fine. Okay, let's go. Have me kill myself.
Okay, well, you still have to do orientation, but we can do this afternoon.
I still have to do orientation?
It's state stuff, not negotiable.
I'm having the worst day.
Now, a few years later, Musashi kind of gives up on the sword fighting and takes up art. And for what it's worth, he's pretty good. The images of ink paintings that he did are really amazing. He takes up sculpting, architecture, and calligraphy. He does fight a few duels at this point, but he's getting older and they're less frequent. And he's not traveling the country looking for trouble. He sort of graduated into a position under a lord where he gets paid to paint and meditate.
Yeah, I feel like once you've earned a historical reputation for fatal surprise attacks out of nowhere, you just walk up to people and say, "Hey, you pay me to meditate now," and that's going to work more often than it's not, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Now, in 1643, Musashi became a cave hermit, and he decided to write his masterpiece, the Book of Five Rings, which is read by salesmen and guys who play semi-pro rugby.
That's the most brutal joke you've ever written, Cecil. So you know.
Mean. I've only done
And
salesmen before.
also guys who fight with sword simulators like me. In any case, he just moved himself into a literal cave and wrote a novel. And then he died like 4 months later because he's living in a cave, I guess. The book is basically his fighting style, which is, and then just with lots of deepities tossed in for good measure.
Yeah. Okay. TLDR, chop the other guy's hands off.
Yep.
That's the book. That is the book. It's just a bunch of stuff where it's like, and then he swings his sword like this, and then you chop his hands off. Or if he swings like this, chop his hands off.
It's stupid shit like be everywhere and be nowhere or some
And then
dumb
chop
shit.
his
Anyway,
hands off.
yeah, and then chop his hands off. So here's the deal. I'm going to leave you guys with a bunch of quotes from the book. So here it goes. Accept everything just the way it is.
Unless the guy has hands, and then chop his hands off.
Do not seek pleasure for its own sake.
Seek pleasure then for not pleasure.
For her sake, Tom.
Do not, under any circumstances, depend on a partial feeling. What?
Okay, well, maybe if you didn't put so much pressure on my pleasure, it wouldn't have been a partial feeling there.
Think lightly of yourself and deeply of the world.
Oh, okay, guy writing a book about how badass he is in a fucking cave. All right, noted.
Do not regret what you have done.
Even if that means you sometimes bum rush someone with a boat oar when they aren't ready.
Okay, I'm having a real Boondock Saints moment with this book. I read it, and it turns out my life MO is way too close to this asocial serial killer, apparently. I'm feeling great.
Resentment and complaint are appropriate neither for oneself nor others.
Yeah, fucking Get Good, the book. Love it. Back on board. Never mind what I said before.
Be indifferent to where you live.
Okay, Heath, are you Marshmallow Sushi? You have to tell us. It's like being a cop. Are you this guy?
Do not pursue the taste of good food.
Okay, stupid, bad book.
That's a
never mind. Withdrawn.
I'm not the Marshmallow Sushi.
Do not hold possessions you no longer need.
And it's not me either. All right, we're whittling them down.
Do not act following customary beliefs.
Okay, might be Noah.
Do not collect weapons or practice with weapons beyond what's useful.
Not Cecil.
Very true. Okay.
Yeah.
Do not fear death.
Not Tom.
Yeah.
Respect Buddha and the gods without counting on their help.
That's where I bow out, I guess, right there.
Yeah, no, you lasted the longest.
If you wish to control others, you must first control yourself.
And their wrists. So cut their hands off. Wrist control is cut their hands off.
From one thing, know 10,000 things.
Okay, that sounds dangerously like the YouTube research crowd, though, right?
Right? Perceive that which cannot be seen with the eye.
Listen, you smell that?
Do not sleep under a roof. Carry no money or food. Go alone to places frightening to the common brand of man. Become a criminal of purpose. Be put in jail and extricate yourself with your own wisdom.
Okay, those last ones were all bad. It's good that he just cleaned the pipe out, though, with one. He just got them all.
To become the enemy, you must see yourself as the enemy of the enemy.
Okay, maybe it's me again. I think it might be me again. Might be me. All right. Well, Cecil, if you had to summarize what you've learned today in one sentence, what would it be?
If you kill a bunch of people, everyone will read your self-published book and pretend it means something.
Huh.
Indeed, they will. And are you ready for the quiz?
I'd feel so much better if you didn't have a self-published book right now. Like this moment, I would feel better.
I said,
So you are ready for the quiz?
I am ready for the quiz.
Fantastic. All right, Cecil. Which of the following is the best book by Miyamoto Musashi's rivals? A. They don't exist. He chopped their hands off.
Ooh, that's
he's a winner. Because
that's a
he
tough
won.
one. That's a tough one. I'm going to go with A. I think it's A.
It was A. Correct. That's how you win your father's love. Win.
All right, Cecil, people who are bad at being people love this kind of shit. So what other books do these bro dweebs fetishize?
Bro dweebs. I love it. Go.
A, The Art of War.
Yep.
B, The Prince.
Mm-hmm.
C, The Art of the Deal. D, The Game. Or E, anything else they can read half the spark notes of while alone and unemployed.
Oh, Jesus. Shots fired at Heath. I'm going to go with B.
Wow. Listen, I read Atlas Shrugged for the purpose. I wasn't doing it.
I read
liked the
to
book.
hate it. To hate it.
I hate Reddit.
I think
Now I
it's
want
B.
Heath to do the game so bad. I will pay good money for Heath to do the game.
Which one's that? I actually have not read that one.
Oh, it's the pickup artist one.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, God.
With
No.
mystery.
My Fed is a Ponzi scheme friend was like, you got to read this. And I was like,
You
nope.
gotta read it, Heath. You gotta read it.
I was like, describe the Fed and I'll read it. Nope.
Tubes.
All right. So
I was right, Noah.
Okay, good. Glad to hear it. Okay, so Cecil, you mentioned earlier that there are Western martial arts styles, and so I looked up a few of these. Which one of the Western martial arts styles is the least intimidating? Is it
All right.
A, trucker capoeira,
Fantastic.
That's amazing.
B, IHOP keto, C, Tai Chi's, or
Nice.
D, Krav Maga?
They're all amazing. It's E, all of the above.
Oh, it is E, all of the above. Damn, I thought I had you.
Oh, man.
Oh, all right. Well, Cecil, that means you are this week's winner.
I choose Noah. Aw.
All right. Well, for Noah, Cecil, Heath, and Tom, I'm Eli Bosnick. Thank you for hanging out with us today. We'll be back next week, and by then, Noah will be an expert on something else. Between now and then, you can listen to our other podcasts and other podcast verses. And if you'd like to help keep this show going, you can make a per episode donation at patreon.com/citationpod. Never better. Or leave us a 5-star review everywhere you can. And if you'd like to get in touch with us, check out past episodes, connect with us on social media, or check the show notes, be sure to check out citationpod.com.
And maybe we could get like coffee or lunch sometime. I mean, whatever you want. Up to you.
Perhaps.
Heath, here you are, and I see you've cornered the evil mistress of darkness. Are you engaged in battle?
Yep. Battling evil. Yep. Sure am. Grrr, battling evil.
Why do you have a boner?
It's a knife.
Is it a knife?
No.
I am the Dark Master, Cecil something Italian. You called for me?
Master, you are so powerful and amazing.
Yes, I am.
But can you tell me, did we always talk like this?
What am I supposed to? How does that work?
You're a talking walrus.
It works.
Oh,
It
I don't
works
know
like
why
you
I
as a
didn't know
talking
that.
walrus, Tom. You got it.
Duh.
What the fuck? I'm a talking. Okay.
You're a
talking
typical
walrus.
talking walrus, Tom.
This
Go.
is sort of your I am
Jesus.
Groot.
How much
sort of a
fucking
line.
direction do you need, Tom? This is embarrassing for you. This is embarrassing for you.
Oh my God.
Am I supposed to
I
hold your
feel
tusk
I am
through this, man? Come
Fucking
on.
cringing over here.
Just make a
Unbelievable.
choice and say the fucking walrus line.
Daniel Day-Lewis over here.
Jesus. Fucking good Lord. I can't believe I worked with all of you. I quit.
Tom?
That's perfect. That's perfect. First instinct, best instinct. Yeah.
No, that was
Crushed it.
exactly perfect.
No, that was absolutely perfect. It was exactly it.
Eh? What is that?
This is Tom Tom, my talking walrus. We are best friends.
Tom!
Exactly.
What is?
You said it, Tom Tom.
But you are right, Heath. We did not always talk like this.
You fools!
Eli, the Dark Mistress.
That's right. It's me, Eli, the Dark Mist. That's right. It's me, Eli, the Dark Mistress of Darkness. You fools have fallen for my dark plan of darkness once again. Ha ha ha.
Eh?
Tom!
So good.
Clip clop.
So good.